What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Watch and Cut channel. So today we're going to be doing a first look at the CKF. Well, you'll have to see inside. You already know by the title. I don't even know why I say that. Anyways, I've already peeked at this. It actually came wrapped really nicely. And it'll come with this cloth right here, which is embroidered CKF, like the traditional stuff. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with CKF knives, they are a Russian operated and owned company by Mike, which is an awesome dude, by the way. I've dealt with him for many years and have had chats with him before. And absolutely great place to do business. They do a lot of limited production runs. They'll do runs of 200 or 300 different knives. They usually collaborate with all kinds of different custom makers, which is what makes CKF kind of like the easiest road or the least expensive road towards the custom world in some respects. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get customs. They're much less expensive than something like this, and you know, some of them are a little bit pricier over the years, but compared to a handmade custom by the gentleman that does this one, it's kind of it's a significant price difference. You're talking 3, 5, 8, I don't know, whatever you can think of, depending on what build you have from John, because he's kind of an exclusive knife maker. You know, he's just one man, and he's got a very high demand for this exact design right here, which was, you know, always known as the Evolution. John got together with Mike, and this is the third run, the 3.0. I've had all three now. I had the 1.0, which was a larger version with a blue scale. I mean, this thing was massive, and I have decent sized hands, but even for me, it was a bit big because you just had this huge axe style head like blade hanging out of the bottom of this thing, and it just looked kind of crazy in the hand. And you know, if you hold on to one of these, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, it's not a small knife, and remember, this one is smaller than the 1.0. And then you had the 2.0, which I also owned, almost identical specs to this one. The 2.0 did have the Damascus clip. I am already paid for and everything for the Damascus clip. They just came late in the production run. You guys already know what's going on with the US and Russia. So the fact that these made it over from Russia is a pure miracle all of its own. If you guys aren't familiar with Rotten Design, this is his logo right here. And I wish I had brought the Benchmade that he did for me in a regrind, although go check out Dirk's video. He did a video on it.
Added their own. This is a beautiful knife. This is kind of like a perfect, just well done user knife.
I will do my own full-length video on that at some point in the near future. But he's the gentleman that really does these, and he's very well known and respected for this design. Like I said, they go for crazy stupid money. And what I like about John is a lot of times when you deal with some of these bigger custom knife makers, they're hard to reach, they're hard to talk to, or if you have an issue with a knife, it's a pain in the butt. John, for me, chatting with him probably about maybe the last 2-3 years, here and there, and then he did a project on one of my production Benchmades, and here it is, by the way. It's pretty sweet. John just has been a really lovely guy to deal with, and I had a little kind of hiccup with him at some point because I was being a pain in the ass about the waiting, which, to be fair, it's quite a bit of waiting, but you know, for something from John and the amount of care that he puts into it, which I didn't realize till later because of the way, as a customer, I've been treated over the years. And, you know, I'm a very patient guy for the most part, but dealing with multiple custom knife makers over the years as a customer, just like knife makers do, to be fair, but I've been abused as a customer too, waiting 2-3 years for stuff, and you know, finding out I've been put behind a few people that I know were, you know, after me, things like that, whole bunch of stuff, you know, being charged more after the fact, just, you know, significantly, just all kinds of things have happened to me over the years. And I'm still in this silly collecting game, but I just love sharp objects, and I'm sure you guys are watching this because you do too. So let's do a first look at this thing. Now, the old Custom Knife Factory kit used to come also with a rag like this, but it also comes with your knife. And then it always comes with some swag, right? Like some stickers. What do we got here? They always come up with some really kind of interesting one. Now, this is a good mention right here, NC Blades. I've seen him around the Facebook groups, and in all honesty, I haven't really done much business with him before. But he's the one that facilitated the easy transfer between CKF knives all the way to the US and making sure they got to all their US customers. I believe there's different stores doing it around the world for different parts of either Europe or USA. There's a different distributor. But NC Blades did a really good job. I had a quick question. He answered it immediately. When I paid for the knife, literally got here 2 days later. So far, great impression. Here is John Sorensen. He's a really great dude. Again, can't say enough about him. M390 is the one that I got, although you can see here, you can get this Damas steel dress version. I already saw one for sale on the Facebook groups for $2,200 if you're interested. I think that's like $1,000 markup, but I don't know, you know, whatever. Yeah, usually they circle these to let you know what you got. Mine's not marked off anything. I think this is just really giving you all like the different variations you can get. There was the micarta, zircotai, Timascus, Thai Zirc, and then CF. So lots of variations. I'm not really familiar with all of them yet because I really didn't follow up. This is pretty typical of a Custom Knife Factory certificate of authenticity for a long time now. I do have another older one which has the old packaging, which I may bring out when I do a full review of this thing. And then you get this really lovely pouch, and trust me, there's more stuff. This is a really nice durable one. I can speak from experience because I bought lots of these. It's really soft in here. I mean, you know, they really give you like the whole treatment. If I have any kind of like, oh look, I even get Russian hairs and fuzz. That's probably from the microfiber. I'm just making jokes. Anyways, if I had anything to say about CKF, they've been stellar too. And I've interacted with them for a few things as well. And this is still like the only like production company that does this. I really don't want to take this apart right now because I don't need to. But so what it is it's a spare set of screws. So you got a full set of hardware in case you strip something. You got a set of bearings in there. We can get a look here. There's your bearings. These are gonna be like maybe multi-row style is what I'm guessing. Whatever it is for this heavy blade, it doesn't really need much. It just does it on its own. And you know, I mean, honestly, I could just do a full review knowing that I've owned the other two, but I'm not, because in like new fashion, I like to really do these crazy editing fun videos. So my full review, I'm going to do something fun like I do all my other full reviews, but gotta say, first impressions are really good. I mean, you guys can already see the hand rub satin is knocked out of the park. Sharpening choil, I mean, you know, it's John's design. It's a finger choil, sharpening choil combined. It's not sharp right at the edge, so that was something that was considered, which is really good, because there's been a couple knives that bit me in the corner that had front finger choils like this. You know, the edge is crisp, it bites. I mean, it's really sharp. It's a hand rub satin M390. This is what number is this one? I think it's 161. No. Oh, it's 513. 13's my lucky number. This one was brought to you in May of 2022, and I guess you got somebody that signed it. I don't know if that's Mike or the guy who put it together. It's really similar to the 2.0 in my opinion. Same thing with the 1.0. They're all identical knives, just they're exactly scaled down or up. This guy is the one that's right in the middle. So honestly, I had no gripes about the 2.0 whatsoever. It fit my hand really nicely. And knowing that there was a 3.0, I jumped on it, sold the 2.0, because I just don't really like have multiple of one model for the most part. The only exception has been the PM2 thing. But even those all have variations. You can see here there's a, I don't know if it's Zircotite or Timascus on the pivot color. I'm going to go with Timascus. And then everything else is kind of like black tide. Now this reminds me of Damian, his kind of like tree bark finish. Also, what's that other maker in Croatia? Dalibor. Dalibor does a lot of this kind of tree bark looking finish. The cool thing is with this one, you don't really feel what you see. You just kind of see like the nice milling marks, and it's been really nicely dark, kind of a, I don't want to say stone wash. I mean, kind of just a dark tie finish. I'll just go with that. I'm assuming it's kind of a tumble from the way it looks, but it's really nice. And then the pivot color, I wish would had a little bit more real estate. It's kind of hard to even notice that it's dressed up in it, but I guess that'll stand out more as you get the clip that will match. Now, one thing I never understood, and I thought this was going to be one of the improvements that they're going to make on this, which I thought I read somewhere they said they were going to do, but they did not. Transfer the pivot color to both sides. It's not a huge deal because I guess this is the show side, but man, that would have been kind of nice. I thought that was one of the things they were going to do, but they didn't. But overall, the craftsmanship of the knife is phenomenal. The one thing I say is really the highlight of this one versus all the other two is the detent. The detent is a bit stronger on the retention. Like, even though it's a big old blade, and here I'll hold it at the clip so you know it's just the lock bar doing it, but the blade retention for such a large blade is phenomenal. So the blade is already dangerous as it is, you know, holding such a huge thing. So the fact that it remains closed nicely, when the thing is closed, it stays in there in a nice safe position is great. Centering is off, you know, there you go. That's one tick against it. I guess that is something I can fix very easily. But remember, there's kind of a loose tolerance with these bigger blades. So honestly, look at that. I just touched it and the blade is centered. So, you know, obviously that is not great, but I think I can fix that. That's not a problem. Oh, look at that. There's your problem right there. Look at that. These things are like hand tight. So as you can see, that's actually good news. Even with a loose pivot, this thing still actually almost wanted to center. So there you go, it is centered. It just came with a loose pivot. So yeah, that'll be fun. These are cool. These are actually blade stops, but you can use them as like, you know, something to open the blade. I will say also the detent on the way out to deploy the knife, even with slight lock bar pressure, this knife still deploys really easily. Obviously the Spidey flick and whatever else you want to do with this thing is absolutely no problem. So first impressions, again, CKF knocked it out of the park. It's John's design though, so let's really give him a big shout out. And yeah, more to come on a full review on this guy. This one was a lot of fun to talk about, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell icon for the next video and all the other stuff coming up. We'll see you guys next time.